People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, it's not been the best of fixtures for our first team and our under-23s. Now, obviously Arsenal's first team lost 3-0 against Manchester City today. I believe on Friday, if I can remember rightly, shows how fried my brain is, we lost 1-0 against Brighton's under-23s, and I believe we beat them in the reverse fixture. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Connolly played in that game, who's now progressed into Brighton's first team. Either way, it is what it is. I believe our unbeaten run is now over. It was a very disappointing game purely because I just don't think we turned up really and truly. And yeah, I think the players learned a lot. Going into the game, obviously Tyrese John Jules is fit again. He never sadly got to make his debut in the Europa League, but he was on the bench for the first team, so he was going to always get a run out. You've got Trey Coyle, who's been one of the players at under-23 levels of the season. You've got Tormey as well. Zach Medley, similar to Tyrese, didn't get no minutes, so he's also playing. Burton and Oli Inca back in the side after travelling. Ben Cottrell was on the bench after obviously playing in Indonesia with the 18s. So yeah, Balogun's getting his fitness back and he was on the bench. Obviously not ready, I assume, to be playing week in, week out. Apologies people, it's PSG's playing, but that's really unprofessional. But yeah, you saw a fairly strong side. Like I said, Brighton, they've got some good technical ballers at all levels in their academy. They've got Jenks, who played well. I believe they technically called upon, I forgot his name, but that central midfielder in Brighton, he's in his late 30s or something like that, and he's at first team level. Typically at this level you do see players that are not getting regular football at first team obviously play. So they had some experienced players to count upon, and they've just got some good technical based players. And I'm going to be honest, I think the whole first half was really and truly Brighton's, in my humble opinion. I felt a lot of it was us reacting. I don't feel we really got any chance to really play our football. Really didn't. The efforts we did have, we didn't really take advantage of them. But it's all Brighton. Brighton are having the better passages of play. Brighton are hitting the post and things like that. We're just camped in our own half. We're not able to play fluid. Men in possession, there's not really any options on, and I just think we're being picked apart really, and we're being cancelled out at every avenue by Brighton. And I felt sorry for Tyrese, because similar to Aubameyang for City, it's a game where your team's not in it, so how are you going to be in it? But same way, I wanted to see more from our standout players, or players that are on the cusp of first team, because I didn't really think we were at it today, really and truly, man. I felt, like I said, we were probably lucky in the first half not to go behind people. It just, yeah, I felt Brighton were proactive. We were just very reactive, like I said, man, and probably count ourselves lucky not to go down, not to be behind at half time. Second half comes now, and it's more or less the same thing. We're kind of hanging on. We're playing a bit better. There's a bit more urgency, but we're hanging on really. Brighton get their goal. Admittedly, I can't remember if they scored in the first or second half. Blame Arsenal's first team, but I'm pretty sure it was in the second half. They got that goal in the 60-odd minute to take them ahead. Forgive me for being wrong. Is it Gurkis? I can't say his name. Gurkis, whoever his name is. He hit the post in the first half. He does well to actually keep it alive and actually fire in a rocket past our keeper. It's a very good goal, but I felt initially it was a ball over the top like you saw. Brighton lad couldn't really make an effort of it, did very well to do what he could. It's kept alive and it's smashed home, and it's a very good goal, and it's a very good effort, people. I had to applaud it. You could say Brighton deserved easier goals to score than that, but they definitely deserved to be in front ahead of us, people, because like I said, we were quite sloppy by our own standards, and we're really not. I didn't really see any of the attacking play I've been accustomed to seeing from some of these individuals. To make matters worse, shortly after going in front, Burton sent off. Silly foul to really get a second booking. It wasn't a straight red, if I remember correctly. Silly booking. He leaves his team, and our captain as well, been playing in for Lumberg, obviously been playing for Wales at 21's level, normally one of our reliable players. He leaves us in it, gets himself sent off cheaply, and these are the lessons these young pros have to learn at first team, because we're chasing the game. He's left us in it, he's our captain, he's sent off. Medley, I believe, took the captaincy after that. And to be fair, it's a weird game because when we went down to 10 men, we actually started to play football, started to get in behind and things like that. It actually started to try and threaten Brighton and whatnot, people. With one less man in midfield, it's like everybody started to work that little bit harder and things like that. Chase balls that didn't need to be chased. It's a shame it's only kicked in, which is really too little too late, if I'm 100% honest with you. But we're doing well, and I must admit, because I believe it's a mixture of how they're playing, and obviously Bold being brave with his tactics, but he's brought on Ben Cottrell, and obviously Balogun to play with Tyrese, John Jules and whatnot, and whatnot. He's taken off Trey Coyle, but he's putting these guys on the field, and considering we're a man down, and obviously we're kind of at that crossroads. If do we press for a goal and it becomes 2-0, or do we press and it becomes 1-1? I liked how Bold and the players were brave. They tried to get that that equaliser, the second goal in the game, but ultimately it was too little too late. We didn't really create anything, and when we did, it was quite poor. We didn't take our efforts. Tormey had a couple. I felt our set pieces, when we did have them, Arsenal normally make more of a meal for oppositions to defend. Didn't really do that. Felt we gave our defending fullbacks way too much to do just because we weren't really doing anything meaningful. I felt we gave the ball away quite cheaply, and to be fair, we're lucky not to lose a couple more based on the first half. But apologies, it is what it is. Our unbeaten run is now over. We just have to move forward with it, people. I believe we're in International Cup action on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't quote me. So there's no time for these players to feel sorry for themselves. But in relation to our 1-0 defeat to Brighton's under 23's, that's all I've got to say. People, it's a pleasure that you're always watching and rocking with me. I'm out though.